As part of the call we have discerned to participate in God's mission through healing ministry here at Grace Church, we've extended an unusually warm welcome to people in recovery from addictions. While we've always hosted 12-step meetings in our building, our relationship with the recovery community is what has changed, and it's grown through this intentional outreach. There are now well over 1,000 people, probably close to 1,200, coming through these buildings each month for recovery-related activities, whether that's for meetings or for the things the church offers, like the monthly Recovery Eucharist or the weekly early morning meditation group. Folks in recovery have really picked up on the fact that our church honestly celebrates their recovery and that we want to support them in their mission to help as many people as possible find sobriety and serenity. We want them to know that this is a very safe place to come and find healing and to explore God, the God of their understanding. Language from 12-step recovery is included in all our communications, from the website to the Sunday sermons. And this lets people in recovery know that Grace Church is a safe place to be. And we also feel particularly strongly about supporting people in the 11th step of recovery. And that says, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood God, praying only for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. And that's where our Eucharist comes in. That's where the availability of our clergy comes in. That's where the friendliness of the church comes in. That's where people see that a church, a place of spiritual focus, is interested in them. We've become a safe place not only to come, well, just come as you are to find recovery, but also a place to come and explore God in Christ, should that become someone's understanding of God. Although we do understand that that is not everyone's understanding. We stand ready, however, if that is something someone wants to explore. We've recently welcomed an additional 10 weekly AA meetings and a new weekly Al-Anon meeting. And there's been a revitalized Overeaters Anonymous meeting, which was about to shut down, but is now very large and meets vibrantly each week. One of our meetings is also a large meeting for people in their teens and 20s, and there's about 50 to 80 people there some weeks. At Grace Church, people in the area know that they can find a meeting here every morning and every evening, as well as some in the middle of the day. And we'd like to offer more healing space for the recovery community to expand their outreach of healing. Our downstairs Lewis Hall was once the home of our Sunday school, and it's not currently in active use by the church, other than for our monthly vestry meeting. So we have envisioned this space as designated recovery space. And it wouldn't only be for our smaller 12-step meetings, but also hopefully it would be a place that would be used in other ways. One way we see it being used is as a resource center for people in recovery. Our parish nurse has plans to set up a resource area down there with information about local health providers and rehab centers and other helpful health contacts. And then, of course, right upstairs are the church offices in case the clergy can be of spiritual assistance. And as an aside, I've conducted many 5 steps, or step 5s here lately through the rite of reconciliation, so people are using that connection. The folks in recovery have noted that there's often a need in this area for people in recovery, especially those who are newly sober, to have some place to go at odd hours when the desire to drink or use arises. This space could serve as such a place where someone who'd like to just have a cup of coffee and get some one-on-one support from someone with more sobriety under their belt can come and be safe and sober. This idea has been floating around in the meetings, and there is widespread support to develop this space. There is nothing similar unless you drive down to Westport or up to New Haven, so there's definitely need for such a place in Bridgeport, in the Bridgeport area. We have people willing to explore the idea of staffing such a space for certain hours. We have tradesmen in AA willing to pitch in and get the work done. And significant donations have come forward for our recovery ministry from AA members. And that will include things like the humidifier and other things that we'll need for this space, or dehumidifier. AA is self-supporting as part of their tradition, so we anticipate that this ministry will support itself financially once it's off the ground. We just need help to get this dank basement transformed into a healing, welcoming space. All right, let me show you where we'd like to renovate the space. This is Lewis Hall. Our offices are upstairs, and downstairs used to be our Sunday school space, and this is what we'd like to renovate. As you can see, it's a pretty dark cellar right now, and we think we can really brighten it up and open it up. This is the largest room we have now, but if you come around the corner, you can see that this is not a load-bearing wall. So we'd like to remove this wall to open up this entire space into one great big meeting room. We'd like to take out this rug, which has become damp over the years and musty, especially in the summer, and refinish the floor. We'd like to redo the ceiling and enclose these pipes to make this room much cleaner. The other thought is to paint the walls a brighter color, to open up these windows, and to put in a coffee and microwave area for meetings over here. That's nice and functional. There's also one small room here which we will keep. And I think that this small room could be either for very small meetings, or perhaps we might be considering this as a meditation space. Because a lot of our groups are very much into the step 11 part of recovery, there might be a very good use for this as meditation space for people to use either before or after meetings, or anytime they want to stop by. Of course, they're welcome to use the chapel in the church, and many of them do. But there are a lot of people in recovery that would prefer a more recovery-related meditation space. So, Chris, how did you get to Grace Church?
Well, Elsa, thank you for asking me that. And briefly, how I got to Grace Church was, through my recovery in the AA groups. And as you know, because you intimately been involved in my recovery on the spiritual side also, that I came into the rooms. I met you through the rooms, and and I like to think as Grace Church is really my home base. And since I've been in recovery now 3 years. The rooms of AA have led me to to my higher power and a more direct path, and I really could not have experienced what I did and been successful if it wasn't for my relationship with God and with Grace Church through the recovery.
How has Grace Church supported your sobriety?
First of all, it supported my sobriety through providing, wonderful, warm, and inviting spaces for myself and other people in AA to recover. Also through the recovery Eucharist that you have brought here, and also by just the open and inviting way that all the members of Grace Church, whether in recovery or not in recovery, have just opened their arms and their hearts to myself and to other people in my community.
And do you think that there's a special link between Grace Church and the meetings that maybe helps people discover more about their higher power?
I like to liken that experience this way. Have you ever played with an AM radio and you have to keep fine-tuning that radio because the signal fades back and forth? Well, that's how my relationship has come with God. The more I fiddle with that relationship, the more I work on that relationship between myself and God through Grace Church, through my recovery, the clearer that signal gets, and the more directly I hear His message, and the more it works in my life and the life of other people that I touch.
Our hope is to make this space and all our spaces into healing environments. Warm, welcoming, and calming. We know that God is up to something here in Trumbull, and it's our task to listen, discern, and then spread that message. We have seen evidence in our recovery ministry that the message of God's love and healing is being heard. Thanks for listening to our proposal.